And welcome to Thursday's Gainline. Joining me today is rugby writer Andy Howell and another rugby writer, Ben James. How are you doing, chaps?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, pretty good. Sean, plenty to talk about.
Yeah, plenty to talk about. Not so much rugby, but massive story, of course, breaking overnight. We heard whispers of it yesterday. 2 matches cancelled by World Rugby. Chaps, your reaction, Ben, first of all?
It's a strange one, isn't it? I don't think we expected this to be dominating the headlines heading into the final weekend of pool games. Obviously, England, France, and New Zealand, Italy have both been called off, which probably means that Scotland, Japan is going to be called off. You'd think. It looks like World Rugby have made a rod for their back, and it's hard to see how they can sort of let that third match go on now they've set a precedent.
Yeah, I think they're going to give that as long as they can without having to take a decision. I'm just surprised that they haven't rescheduled the matches for Monday because the typhoon is supposed to pass by Sunday morning. Japan is a country that's equipped to deal with these sort of storms, so I can't see any reason why they've decided at this stage to cancel them. Fair enough, don't play them on Saturday if there's a storm on public safety grounds, but if you reschedule them to Monday, teams are still have enough time, those who are lucky enough to qualify, to prepare for the quarterfinals. Look at Wales, played yesterday, they got another match on Sunday.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate. Let's assume the storm doesn't pass. They have to cancel Japan, Scotland at short notice. I mean, that is huge repercussions for this tournament.
Yeah, no, it is. If Scotland miss out on a quarter-final place or even a chance to reach a quarter-final, then it doesn't reflect well on the tournament at all, because it's farcical, isn't it? But I suppose the problem is, you look, the rules have always been the rules in terms of the World Cup. A game couldn't be postponed, it could only sort of be changed venue on that day. So ironically, Gregor Townsend earlier this week was saying that exact thing in press conference when it looked like Ireland's game was going to be called off. He was saying, well, Ireland's game can't be postponed, it can only be changed venue. So changing days was never an option. It just doesn't look like World Rugby have an alternative when it comes to different venues, which is a bit of a concern.
Yeah, of course. So when everyone speaks about it, they speak about it for self-interest, don't they? Yeah, I can understand a situation if a match has to be cancelled on the day of the game because of heavy storm or whatever on those grounds. But when they've got this much notice, surely they can reschedule the games. I don't think this would happen in a football World Cup. And I'm amazed that World Rugby already decided this. And Italy have already been punished because now they don't get a chance to qualify for the quarterfinals.
Well, we don't want to just hear from our rugby experts here. We want to hear from you at home, and we're already getting some questions in below the line. Paul asks, if Scotland's game is cancelled and they're knocked out without playing, can you see that ending up with legal action?
No, don't think that would happen. Yeah.
Really? I mean,
no.
Really?
Well, so going to have legal action, be able to have a case and then force them to play the match before the following weekend.
They probably tried to take legal action against Craig Joubert in 2015, so I think this is better grounds, isn't it?
Yeah, but the tournament's been staged in Japan, isn't it? We're not talking about a British legal system, yeah?
Remind us what happened 4 years ago.
I got to remember now. Obviously, 4 years ago they went out to Australia in the quarter-final stage. I think it was it an accidental offside that was awarded, or was an accidental offside should have been given by Craig Joubert.
Yeah.
He gave it as offside, which gave Australia a chance to win the match in the dying seconds, which they did. And then, quite comically, he ran off the pitch, didn't he, afterwards, which I don't think pleased the Scots.
Almost as much controversy as Brexit.
I don't know how he's managed to shoehorn Brexit in there, but I think we'll move on.
Let's move on to another match then. This one's been having a bit of debate in the office as well. Let's look at Italy.
Yeah.
So the Scotland-Japan may well go ahead. We might not have to worry about any of these repercussions. Italy-New Zealand is off. Now,
yep.
We can sit here all day and say that New Zealand were going to win that game. But technically Italy could have qualified by beating New Zealand. And if we're playing a World Cup on paper, well, what's the point of having the tournament at all? You two have been I should throat a little bit about this.
Yeah. My view is simply Italy has been denied a chance to try and qualify for the tournament. They should have been given that right. Yes, we all expect the All Blacks to win that game. but we have seen shocks in the past. Who expected South Africa to lose to Japan 4 years ago? Italy have beaten South Africa in the past. I don't think there's any way they would have won this game, but they should have had a chance to play in it. And let me turn it round the other way. If New Zealand needed a win to reach the quarterfinals, would this match have been cancelled? I suspect no.
Sounded an awful lot like Sergio Prieste there, aren't you? I agree with you. I think they should have had the chance, but I think you've toned it down a little bit there. You insisted that Italy were almost gearing up for a shock, and I think your words that Italy had a chance to qualify for the knockout stages are doing a lot of heavy lifting. But the problem is, once World Rugby cancel this match, then they almost have no choice but to cancel the other matches. You know, the rules are the rules for every team. Once you cancel the Italy match, once Italy are denied a chance to, albeit a very long shot, bid for qualification, you can't then turn around and say Scotland can benefit from having the rules changed for them. I
don't think they should have cancelled any of these matches this weekend. So England and France should be going ahead as well. At the moment, of course, they've only cancelled 2 matches. That's just that,
Okay, well, these aren't the only talking points. We've got repercussions for teams not involved directly with these matches. I mean, let's look at Wales. I've got a question here from Geraint who asks, how much of an advantage will France now have over Wales, given they will be well rested, having played a game less?
I don't think it is an advantage. I think it's a disadvantage. You look at Wales yesterday, they came off the back of a 10-day sort of rest period turnaround, and first 20 minutes they look sluggish, they look slow, and we all know about France. I think 10 days without match action for them, like how many mutinies could they possibly stage in that 10 days? It's will they have a coach by the time it gets to our quarter-final?
They could have a different coach, you never know with them. But for once, I will agree with Ben.
Well, David asks a similar question actually. England have barely been tested at this tournament. Obviously 2 easy victories, and then we were expecting a tough match against Argentina, which was somewhat ruined by that red card. So they won't be tested until Australia. Is that a good or bad thing?
That's bad for them. Yeah, because as he's rightly pointed out, they haven't been tested that much. I think they would have really tried to go to town against France. They've been looking to lift their performance in that match, just up the intensity before Australia, because don't forget Australia had a really tough match there with Wales and possibly more
with
Fiji, 2 really tough matches. I would argue they would be better prepared now for the quarterfinals than England will be.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting matchup, because obviously England look settled in their game plan. They look like they know what they're doing, but as we say, they've had 3 fairly simple games, while Australia, they look like they're stumbling through game plans. I think Michael Cheika doesn't do analysis. He's been quoted himself as saying he doesn't do it. You look at the way they played against Wales, they didn't really learn that well from some things, but then against Fiji they did. So it's an interesting dynamic of one team who is stumbling through a game plan but is battle hardened, and then another team who is comfortable in what they're doing but probably hasn't been tested yet.
Well, the subject has clearly got people talking. We've got comments coming in. Gary Pillinger says the games should be postponed, not cancelled. Kay Edwards says Japan know what the weather can be like, so why isn't there an alternative venue in place? June Kivy, maybe believe it. With June, no team wants the weather to decide for them, but safety is paramount. I think that's a good point. Japan have had
massively so. They've
had deadly typhoons already this year. They had a huge typhoon about this time last year, I think, which killed up to 11 people. We can't mess about here. These aren't like storms we have in this country.
No, exactly. I know there's a few stadiums, aren't there, in Japan which are under domes or roofs, and so people are like, well, why can't we just play indoors? But I think you see some of the footage of even indoors being affected by these typhoons, and what those domes have been hit by. It's not as simple as that.
It's a safety issue. The fact that people having to get to the stadium, that's where they're in danger, isn't it? They might be alright if they're in the stadium, but it's to get in it. The teams on the buses to the stadium, anything could happen, couldn't it? So I understand that. But if there was a typhoon this same time last year, major one and all, I think there's a bigger question here. Surely. It's got to be asked, why did World Rugby decide to stage the World Cup in Japan at this time of year?
But I suppose they staged the World Cup in New Zealand in 2011, a year after Christchurch was hit by earthquakes, and that's a sort of another area for disasters, isn't it? Natural disasters.
Well, we're not gonna solve this one in 15 minutes today. This story's going to keep on rolling on, and we'll bring you the latest, of course, on Wales Online. Let's move on though. rapidly, Wales have got another match coming up. They'll be naming the team to play Uruguay tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've had some injury concerns after the Fiji match. We were expecting a different lineup anyway. So let's have a look at the team we think might face Uruguay and sort of maybe a few surprises in there.
Yeah, so this is a team that our colleague Matt Southcombe has picked out in Japan. It's nice to see he's earning his crust, doing a bit of writing out there. It's pretty much as you'd expect, isn't it? I think Reece Patchell's going to get the nod at 10 because Dan Biggar is just completely ruled out of this match. Thomas Williams to partner him at 9. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, the only the where the sort of a little bit changes. Not what you'd expect is perhaps at centre either Jonathan Davis or Adley Pax had to play. Jonathan Davis had injury yesterday, so Pax will play instead of him now.
It's not ideal, is it? Considering the Pax has got a fractured bone in his hand.
No, it's not. It's not, is it? If he gets injured, Wales going to have to call up another centre. Obviously Patchell was going to play outside half anyway, even if Dan Biggar being fit. Halfpenny would play at fullback. I guess the other thing, George North, he was feeling his leg yesterday. Josh Adams, he had a dead leg. Matt has got North in his team, is expecting him to recover. It's a possibility Liam Williams may have to play perhaps on a wing. But I
think they'll go North.
Yeah.
I think they're always going to go North for this game. Just given the opposition, I think North is cut out for this one. But what's interesting is Matt has gone for a 6-2 split on the bench, which Warren Gatland probably hasn't got too many choices about that. He's probably got to go 6-2 split.
No, he's probably going to have 2 scrum halves on the bench with one of them covering the wing.
Well, he's gone with Aled Davis and Liam Williams on the bench. And then maybe James Davis would be an extra back row alongside, say, Josh Navidi, and obviously James Davis can cover the wing.
Yeah, that's right.
Would you play him on the wing in the World Cup?
No. Oh, James Davis in the wing in the World Cup?
Well, it's a Uruguay, isn't it?
Playing a European quarter final on the wing for the Scarlets most of the game, and did alright. And he's an Olympic Games sevens player, and that's a multifaceted game, isn't it?
And Tipuric probably captain the team, and he'll be starting, he's starting at 7, not 13, which probably disappoints you a little bit, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't disappoint me, but if you had to fill in at centre, there's no better person than Justin Tipuric, as some of his former teammates would tell you. He can play anywhere on the pitch.
Right, Harley Worthy's asking, do you think Hallam Amos or Lee Halfpenny could actually stake a claim for a starting place against France?
I don't think so, because Josh Adams got that trick of tries.
Yeah, I think Wales look settled in their back three, don't they?
Yeah, if he hadn't scored that trick of tries, I think he might well have got dropped after his early defensive wobbles. I think Gatland, if Halfpenny has a good game, though, I think Gatland would consider putting Liam Williams on the wing and starting at Halfpenny fullback against France, because France kicking game they got. And Halfpenny's such a good positional player. Could that put him in with a shout?
Don't think they will. I think they're quite happy with how things are going with Liam Williams. He's made the fullback jersey his own. It's tough on Halfpenny because even though he won't make the back three, he's then unlikely to make the replacement bench, because Wales have also got a pretty nice thing going there with Owen Watkin coming off the bench, sort of acting as a great sort of defensive option for the last 20 minutes with what he does in the tackle, how he strips ball. So it's tough on Halfpenny that he can't even make the 23 at the minute. It's just the way it goes.
One surprise in Matt's team for me is he's got Ryan Elias at hooker rather than Elliot D, which suggests to me that Wales are worried that Ken Owens is still time for him to be cited, that Ken Owens could be cited.
Well, Matt is
we're waiting for news on that, because I don't think that if Ken Owens is cited, they wouldn't want to risk Elliot D, because he would clearly step in the team instead of him.
Well, you read my mind there. I was just going to ask, should Ken Owens, this is a question we've had in from Catherine, should Ken Owens be cited for his tip tackle, and when will we find out?
What is the
36 hours? I believe.
36, isn't it? So we're looking left. Couple of hours time, isn't it?
Probably.
In terms of sightings, that's a red card offence, isn't it? That you get. Yeah. So a yellow card would be a sight-in, warning. So on the day, I thought it was a red card. I know our colleague Simon thinks it's a yellow card, and he's normally up to speed on these things. Just because
Simon's argument was that he's landed on his back, and if he landed on his neck, it'd be a red card. But because he landed on his back, it's a yellow card. But you disagree with that?
Yeah. Absolutely, because
it was
that
reckless.
to me then that shows the laws a bit of a fast, isn't it? A tip tackle's a tip tackle. It doesn't matter where you land. A tip tackle's a tip tackle. If you land a upper body, it's only because the guy's athletic. He was able to land on his back.
The reason Bill Matt has landed on his back isn't anything to do with Ken Owens, because Ken Owens has had no control throughout the whole tackle. So, you can't say, oh, he's landed on his back. That's a mitigating factor to Ken Owens, because Ken Owens did nothing to make him land on his back. He could have easily landed on his head. So you can't really. I don't see how you can judge it on that.
Well, okay, let's hope he gets away with it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, I mean, I remember, I think it was the Georgia game when we had that him holding his knee. Was it Georgia or Australia? I can't remember.
It was Georgia.
I think Jamie Roberts in commentary said Ken Owens is one of the key men. If we lose him, we can't win the World Cup.
Yeah.
I don't think
I wouldn't go quite that far, but Ken Owens is a key man in that side.
Yeah, for me, Dee's never really sort of looked a natural starter for Wales. He's looked very good off the bench, and he's established himself as second choice hooker. But whenever he's been given the chance to maybe start games, there's a few players in this Wales squad who are brilliant fringe players, but just maybe don't look.
I thought he did all right in Argentina last year.
Not too bad in Argentina. I'm thinking
Ryan Lice did quite well as well.
I think Italy this year normally he gets a run out in one of the autumn games. He's just, for me, he's not looked.
Yeah. Ken Owens is a key man. That's face facts. He's a leader, and he's a talker and all that. It would be a huge blow if we lost Ken Owens.
Well, we'll know by this time tomorrow. That's for certain. If we don't hear anything, it's good news.
Absolutely.
Well, I think he'd be fortunate to escape a sighting.
I do disagree with. I see Stuart Barnes has called it the worst tip tackle of the tournament, which, considering two Italians put a Dwayne Vermaelen on his neck after the whistle had gone. I'm not sure quite what Stuart Barnes is on about, but that's probably not the first or last time I'll say that.
Well, it's not like Stuart Barnes to say something controversial about the Welsh. And on that bombshell, please join us again tomorrow for the Gain Line, and head over to WalesOnline for all the breaking news. Anything on that Ken Owens we'll bring you straight away, as well as the latest news on the typhoon about to hit Japan. Thanks a lot. Join us again tomorrow. Cheers.